Hello, world. Welcome aboard, all you ground troops spinning around smartly on the planet. This is Theresa J. Morris, and I'll be your host this evening for several of our channels that play throughout the world. We're very fortunate to have Brad OLSEN, who is a wonderful person who I just met, by the way, at the Alien event. And he is very handsome, much more handsome in person, ladies, if you're single. But I understand he may or may not have many girlfriends, or at least friends in our business. We're in the publishing, author, consultants, and orators, and we're speakers. And he also is an MC, which he just was in charge of one of the, or at least two of the panels, I believe I was speaking on. But he's such a gentleman and supporter of his elders that me being one of the granny witches, I guess, of the old Appalachian Mountains, born in Louisiana, he came to hear me, and he supported me at every one of my talks. So thank you, Brad, for supporting your seniors, especially in the Alien event. Now let me, Brad, if you'll just humor me for a moment. I would like to not act so old and read about you on I've got the wrong phone. Okay, sorry, folks. I'm going to give him just a basic short bio. But since you see him, he's very handsome, and he's done so much. He's actually, I would say, a Renaissance man, because I happen to have known him for years, but strictly as a radio personality until he came along. Now, where was I talking about? Brad OLSEN. Let me show you his. I can't find his bio now, but which one of these books of yours has your bio on it? I've got. Which one of these, Brad?
Well, Modern Esoteric has a chapter about how I started this big street fair in San Francisco. I guess that's about my only bio. But Future Esoteric has a summary bio in the back.
I made all the pictures, folks, and I got, well, folks, I've told you he's an author, a producer, and he is a Renaissance man. I mean, he goes around the world. He is a world traveler several times over, and I keep up with him. I just think he's so handsome and so sweet, but he has done me a favor by making me, for my Psychic University, which you can see up in the top corner over his name, Psychic University, the American Communications Online. So that's my company. And this Modern Esoteric, and this one is Beyond Esoteric by Brad OLSEN. And then Future Esoteric, which I'd like all my people, all my followers, all the people that follow me as a mystic, oracle, psychic, sage, seer, or even a light worker, truth seeker, follow us. And Brett Luger is not with us, but he helps Brad and I, and they're both very tall and handsome. And being an author, producer, consultant, he has literally, with this trilogy of books, I can't believe it, folks, he's got every topic you can possibly imagine that I have been interested in. So Brad, I guess, welcome to our actual live podcast show as an author, consultant, orator, one of the best speakers. And I guess we'll just go with that and let you explain who you are with your history on this first show. Now we're going to come back in another hour, but go ahead and give us your background, how you grew up, born in Chicago, right?
Yeah, that's right. I grew up in Chicago, born there, and went to college at Illinois State University, downstate, and I tell you, Theresa, right about the time I was about to graduate, the last thing on my mind was to start a corporate job and get into the workforce. I just wanted to keep going. I wanted to see the world and travel. So I've always self-financed all my trips. I painted houses back then and made a bunch of money and took off and did the Europe tour of a dozen or so countries in the summer of 1988. And then that just kind of got my feet wet, because I met other travelers who said, mostly New Zealanders or Kiwis, who said, 3 months, mate. We've been on the road for 3 years. So how do you do that? I said, well, we work our way around the world. You just keep going in one direction. You end up in the same place. So I took that to heart, and it took me a couple years to get to Japan. And that's where I taught English for a little over a year, and then self-financed a trip around the world for a total of 3 years. I was out of the country. And my publishing and book writing career started as a travel writer, and I did a bunch of books on traveling, World Stompers, tell people how to travel around the world, and then I did extreme adventure guides for another publisher, and then I did my Sacred Places series of books. But around the year 2000, as we know, the internet started really taking off, and people were able to start looking into where they wanted to take a trip. So travel publishing, especially in book publishing, really started to decline. And I kind of had to do an existential crisis about staying in publishing, being a writer, staying relevant. And it just came to me that what I am most interested in doing is understanding these esoteric subjects. As you mentioned, 3 books in the series, none of them repeat. And esoteric means that's information that's known to only a select few. So I find that very interesting. Anything we're not supposed to know, I would like to know everything about it. And so I endeavored for over a decade to produce these 3 books. And the end result is what you have in your hands there.
Well, I'm so intrigued. I have all 3, and I've delved into all 3, folks. I've only had them in my possession a little over a week since I met him. Actually, it was October 17th through the 20th, but I went away for a week and a half, so I've lost track. I went back to Louisiana, but I did read them at night. But I couldn't put them down, and so stayed up late. These are future esoteric, especially because I'm into ETs and UFOs, and he covers that quite extensively. Here's a picture of, he does graphics too. So I don't understand how he does such a good job of getting the backup graphics. And I was very intrigued by this one. But if you'd like to read a book with diagrams, he has them. And I'd like to talk about this is just unbelievable. He's such a good person for taking his life and sharing it with us now, because time is of the essence, and we're reaching at the end of 2024 with a new president in the United States of America, and this will be our legacy here to start over again with our authors, consultants, and orators in 2025. And Brad OLSEN can lead the way because he's actually been handed the torch by many of our people that have passed on. And I've welcomed him into our UFO Association and our UAP Associates because he has had the energy that I no longer have at 73, this December 26th, to run around the country. And I told him when I met him, and after it was all over, everybody was giving me a hug outside, that he was, he couldn't be, you can't get him down. He's a, what do they call it, a free bird. I think it's a free bird, because he was going snow skiing too, and I couldn't pin him down. I've tried for 12 years since 2012 to pin him down in publishing, working with me and other publishers, but he's just one of those kind of guys that's so busy. He's so in charge of his cosmic being that I thought it'd be good to have him on and talk about all that he's explored. And why, of all people, does he become a God-realized, self-realized human being and in service to others? He's devoting his life to everything that I've ever wanted to be devoted to, but I had to work like he did. So Brad OLSEN, I've got you advertised as a cosmic being, and you saw me talk about those beings, and I believe you are one of them. But I can tell from everything you put in these books. Now, I haven't written every word, but your soul and essence is in these books. I can feel it when I read a sentence. So I don't know, where do we go as a cosmic being and using these as a guide with all these topics? Go ahead and describe yourself and how you feel we should follow you as a born leader and a cosmic being. I know that's a high level. I know you can do this, but we'll have this for recording for our legacy.
Well, geez, I really don't think of myself as a cosmic leader. I mean, sure, I like to speak in conferences and my books, and I do my best. I mean, I'm in service to others, and I have my own publishing business, so I'm beholden to no one as far as the content I create and produce. I never lie. I don't feel like I need to make anything up. It's just a very intricate world that we live in. There are a lot of mysteries, a lot of hidden secrets, and I just do my very best to articulate the data points to find out what it's all about. And so I'm just a researcher who gets into these very interesting subjects. One of my mentors was Jordan Maxwell, the great esoteric teacher himself. He passed a few years ago, but we got to know each other at conferences and became really good friends. In fact, there's a picture of him and I and Johnny Enoch in modern esoteric. And Jordan used to always just say, I'm just an ordinary guy who has gotten into these extraordinary subjects. And I feel the same way. It's kind of going down the rabbit hole, Theresa. The deeper you go, the more mysteries you find, the more layers of the onion that need to be peeled. And that's kind of where I'm at. I just keep going on this. And I'm working on my 11th book right now. It's about the secrets of Antarctica, which is also the name of a TV series that I produced on Forbidden Knowledge TV with Billy Carson. And Antarctica's one of these rabbit holes. There's just so much strange phenomenon to stories of what's really down there. 6 years ago, I had the opportunity to go down there in a sailboat. And I went to the Palmer Peninsula, and it was just a trip of a lifetime. It was probably the hardest trip I ever made. We were throwing up violently from seasickness on the way down. But once we were there, it was smooth sailing and just incredible to go to a place here on planet Earth that looks nothing like other continents. There's no trees, there's no bushes. There's not even really mud or anything brown. It's just black is the color of most of the rocks, and black of the penguins and the whales, blue of the ocean and the sky, and white of the clouds and the snow. So it's kind of like going to Europa or another planet that's just covered in ice. So I just use my experience traveling.
Well, black. Is that from volcano, the black colors?
It can be, but it's kind of also black basalt or black granite. I just remember all the videos and pictures I took. It always appeared to be black mountains with white glaciers cascading off the side of them. But so that's kind of where I'm at. I just keep going.
Cosmic being, yeah.
Well, that's nice to say. Oh yeah, I'm sure. And I've had my own past life.
Let me ask you this. I know you said.
Say again.
We're having you told me you have really bad reception in the mountains there where you live, and you had to go to a library, and you're still coming in and out. I hope it'll be okay once we see it. But
I got
this is one of the tougher. You got good bars there?
No, I'm fine. I get great bars right here in the library. See the books behind me?
Yeah, I see them. Now, what part of the country are you in now? And when will your next, I guess, expedition, like Admiral Byrd going to Antarctica? But I know a lot of people will want to talk to you about that. But since you already did a show on Billy Carson, which I met, and he agreed to work with me on ACO for authors, consultants, and archers in 2017. He and I presented at the Mars Anomaly Conference at the University of Southern Alabama. I was at Southern Mississippi. No, it was Alabama. And you remember Dr. Lesson and Janet Lesson and various other beings were presenting there, and he was recording as well with a gentleman from Norway. Do you know Mike of Norway by any chance that works since 2017? Okay. Well, there's a lot of us out there, folks, that do podcasting, live streaming, and Billy Carson, as he mentioned, is a wonderful person that is, the last I knew, he said he was from Miami, and he has forbidden knowledge, and he's a world traveler. But Brad, I knew you were traveling long before I heard about Billy Carson. And then Billy Carson joined some of my Facebook. I had some of his people come over and get a lot of my UFO people to follow him. They took about 1,500 at a time. I remember 2 women that did that. Can you tell me how long you've known Billy Carson, and did he really give you a car, or did you win a car?
I won a car. I've known Billy a number of years now. We also met at the conferences and just hit it off right away, and saw him a couple years later, and he goes, "Hey, Brad, you know, I would really like to produce that series on Antarctica." And I get a lot of proposals from people. I said, "Oh, sure, Billy, yeah, make it happen. I'll do it." And he made it happen, and I did it. And so he also produces a big award ceremony in Miami every summer called the Conscious Awards. And my series, Secrets of Antarctica, was nominated. And I flew out there in early August for the Conscious Awards. And while I did not win in my category, a little bit later, they were raffling off a Mercedes-Benz. And they called the seat number that I was in and went up on stage. And now I have a Mercedes-Benz with my Toyota 4Runner. So I like to take that out to conferences and out on road trips. And it's a really fun car to drive.
Well, you're a good representative of Gen Z these days. I've told you I'm going to be 73. Do you mind telling us a little bit about you personally? Because you're so tall, and at the event, everybody was calling you everything from Sasquatch to shapeshifter. I couldn't believe it. ET, alien. And I just chimed in on that during my speeches, which you were a good sport about that, a cosmic being and past life energy. But you know, you're a little bit of everything. But how tall are you? My sister asked me, and Jim, they were both there at the conference with us in Las Vegas. Hyde Farman and all the speakers and presenters. Are you 6'5" or 6'7"? But you stand and you move really well. Plus, you said you snow ski. Share a little bit about your personal size and where you get it from. Is it an OLSEN genealogy thing?
Yeah, we got a lot of tall people in my family, especially on my mom's side. I've got another cousin who's also 6'8", about the size I am. You know, Barron Trump just shot up in height. He's 6'9". We're about the same height. You see him at the when Trump gave his victory speech on late Tuesday night. He walked out on stage. He's just a head and shoulder above everybody. So there's a kindred soul.
Future president.
Maybe.
Kindred soul, yes.
I heard he's really smart, but I've never heard him
of
speak. Unlike his brothers who talk a lot. But yeah, hopefully Barron will break out of his shell. Maybe he's with Guy or something. I'm not sure. But you asked about my background. Well, we're Norwegian,
well,
German.
Definitely.
And I'm fourth generation American. My ancestors came over in the 19th century through Ellis Island. Our original family name should be Rasmussen, but my great-grandfather changed our name to OLSEN because when he was traveling over with a bunch of Scandinavians, Norway at the time was a very poor country, and the Danes were the successful ones, and OLSEN is a very popular name in Denmark. So we just decided, hey, let's try out a new name here. So we became the Olsens, but we're also on my mom's side, the Hausmans, which is German Norwegian on both sides. My dad and my mom are both 50-50 German Norwegian. So that's where the height comes from. And I guess I'm just in the Viking tradition, just a modern day traveler. I just love to go to new locations, and I've now been to all 7 continents, and I continue to keep going. You know, my motto is, I aspire to inspire until I expire. So I'm just going to keep going with that.
What's your motto? I didn't hear it on my end. I'm sorry. It could be me, or just the satellite of StreamYard. What's your motto? Keep going. Never give up.
I aspire to inspire until I expire. That's it.
Bravo. Well, do you frequent, I know you started the weird or co-founded weirdness in your part of the country, and I'm in Austin that also embraces weirdness. But you know, it's all not about separating in boxes Democrats and Republicans anymore. I'm an independent voter, but of course, weirdness, you don't have to vote anyway. Weirdness is weirdness. So I think we should have, besides UFO Association pins and ET Talk pins, some kind of weirdness pin. What do you think about that, joining the weirdness here where I live? Because Saeed was talking about us getting together in Austin. Now, you've already talked in Dallas for the UFO, and we'll talk about that mutual UFO, and you've been on so many programs. But let's talk about weirdness for a minute, because you're a cosmic being in my book anyway. Weirdness. How did you get started on weirdness, and compare it? Have you studied Austin? Any research at all with your people, peeps, muses, life workers, or truth seekers in Austin? Help us out here, because I'm a new psychic moving here from Gulf Breeze, Florida, working on the UFO and a psychic medium out there. I did 2 events out there with psychic events there. So you tell me, how do you see weirdness moving forward, plus consciousness?
Well, I guess we're all a little weird. Maybe me from being tall. I get pointed out all the time. No, just making a note that we're all a little weird. But I started an event in San Francisco called the How Weird Street Fair, and it's on Howard Street. So it's kind of a little play on words. How weird can you be, sort of thing. And we just did our 25th annual event in September, but it's probably going to be my last. I live out in Nevada now, and I work on my ranch every day in a little town in northwest Nevada, which is real close to Lake Tahoe, so I can get up there and ski. Waiting for that big storm to first come in. It hasn't yet. The ski resort's not open, but I got my ski pass. I'm ready to go. And it's just an event that has become really expensive to produce. And my partner and I just really don't have the upfront money to keep it going. So we're going to put out a press release on Tuesday and just basically say we need to step away, but hopefully another production company will pick it up and keep it going. And I would certainly consult with them and work on 1 or 2 years getting it over to another production company. But it's kind of sad because it was a very successful event, but I just got so much going on right now, and ordering porta potties and getting deep into the minutia for several months and not really making a whole lot of money off it. It's just my priorities have shifted to my new book and my ranch and to conferences and doing the other things in my career with CCC Publishing.
Well, what kind of ranch? Is it a cattle ranch or just a property ranch to grow farm? Or because I know Bill Gates and all those wealthier upper level crust people bought most of the United States wilderness besides the Chinese. How could you afford land in Nevada? Is that what you said, Reno? Because that is beautiful. They had Bonanza. They shot Bonanza there.
Yeah.
On the Bachelorette, they had a Bachelor that's up to maybe the new band for the Bachelorettes, Golden, from up there, a doctor. And it's beautiful. There's a lake. But tell us why you chose Reno and how we can get weirdness. I know a lot of people they're weird in Reno may help us to get something going. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not in Reno. I'm not in Lake Tahoe. It's about an hour from both of those places. It's just a small ranching and farming town. And I got a 10-acre ranch 2.5 years ago. It was my life savings. It's what I really wanted, to have some property and to be able to live basically for free. But I'm about to build my house in the spring. And I have on the land, it came with corrals and animal sheds, even a small barn. But I don't have any animals yet because I travel so much that I can't really do that. However, I could very well start to get some animals. Right now, I'm moving fence posts. I'm wearing my work clothes because right after this, I'm going to go get lunch, and we're moving a barbed wire fence around to make a big garden area. I mean, this is kind of what I do, but it's part of my workout. I enjoy doing it, even if it's shoveling a post hole. I don't care. It's just cool. So I'm developing the property, but I eventually want to put a bunch of tiny
Skinwalker Ranch and be the weirdness.
You know, a remote viewer said that she saw a portal on my property, and I kind of have an idea where it might be, but that's sort of out of my wheelhouse as far as locating portals. We'll have to get someone out there to pinpoint it. But I will say that somebody also told me that remote viewer said I would not have a problem when I drilled the well. Now I have flowing water on my property, a shower, a hot tub, a utility sink. But they said you're right over the aquifer, and sure enough, we hit pay dirt, and my well produces 120 gallons a minute, much more water than I could ever imagine to use. So I'm building a garden now, the infrastructure for a big, probably about a half-acre garden, and we're gonna plant in the spring, but I'm just building out the infrastructure right now. So that's kind of my other life. I live different lives, you know, a certain persona at the conferences, a certain persona with my books, and then this other aspect of myself. And I like doing it. It feels real natural to me. And it's a really cute little town that I live in, and I'm starting to get to know a few people here, and a buddy of mine who I work on books, he's here in his RV, and we do our work together too. So it's not really alien event or cosmic commander material, but it's living on the land, Theresa. And I got to tell you, there's something about it. It's what enlightened people would say, and I'm not saying I'm enlightened, but the old saying was, before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. So it's just kind of being a human and doing what we need to do to live the rest of our lives.
I agree. The servants are the masters, folks, on this planet especially. But we're swapping it over from a prison planet, thinking that we've been encaged and enraptured into legend media, into podcasting now. And also, Darren Trump really brought that to light to his father. And now Trump will be our world leader because America will not step down, from what I understand, not in politics and banking. And Brad covers that a lot in his book called Future Esoterics. But, you know, folks, with what I do, I just love people. And being a celestial being is knowing that you are not here on the planet just to survive, but to thrive. And in one of his books, he actually has, let me see if I can find it, Foster Gamble. If Brad Olsen will be so humble as to let me read this, because I find it interesting, because I love the word thrive. Now, this is in Future Esoteric. Brad Olsen has done a vast amount of searching to come up with Future Esoteric and putting it together coherently and beautifully. He has saved us all a ton of time just when we are running out of it. Dots are connected and threads knit together, revealing intentional predicament and leading in the direction of practical love-based solutions. Now, he is endorsed by the famous Foster Gamble himself of the Thrive movement. If you don't know who Foster Gamble is, you may want to look him up. He's a very famous man. And Brad, how did you, there's many endorsements in this book, because it's changing our future, folks. That's how important this book is. It is changing our future. Now, Brad is very humble about his research, but I can tell you that every topic in my lifetime at 70, soon to be 73, he's just about hit on, if not more so, more topics than I've even researched in my whole lifetime. And what are you, Brad, about 51, maybe 49? What's your age?
Well, I like to say I'm a half ager because nobody ever guesses my age right. And Theresa, have you ever heard that we bring our DNA, our genetics, lifetime after lifetime? Because I've always felt pretty comfortable in my body. I feel like I've been this kind of looking guy, the height I am, and so my half age is 30, just about. But my real age is I'll be 60 in August.
What? You'll be what?
60.
On the Earth years around the.
Yeah.
No way.
Next year.
What?
I was born in 1965.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, that's what skiing and hard work and just taking good care of myself, eating right and getting enough sleep every night, and don't go to any extremes like the Buddha says. Just follow the middle path, and it's worked out real well for me. I feel like I'm as strong as I am today as I was in my 30s. I don't feel like I have peaked out yet, or I'm very flexible. I work out every day. I got a weight room in my shop, and I'm going to lift weights later on today after I do some workout on the ranch. I mean, you just got to stay busy. An object in motion stays in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. And I just like to be physical and snow ski, as he said, and just do things in the summer, work out, hike, bike ride, whatever it takes, play sports. I just try to do something active every day. I ride my bike to the library almost every day when they're open, and it's just who I am. That's just my happy spot, is to stay active. And it's kind of the secret to my success and why I don't look my age. I'm a half ager. But I think I have kind of a different sort of DNA or genetic than most people. Outwardly, obvious example is because of my height, but also because I do things that stave off the aging process. Let's put it that way.
Very good. Yes, you're definitely a leader and mentor in our esoteric world of metaphysicians. Folks, we have the ACE Metaphysical Institute, which is open source intelligence. We've had it for many, many years off of the American Library Association, Smithsonian Association, ACE, and we share the Ascension Center education and a lot of the various videos that we make, including this one for history and prosperity. But we're very fortunate to have this Brad OLSEN. I know many of you, if you don't know who Brad OLSEN is, Brad, should I find the list of all the shows? I wish I had all the short bio, but can you list for everybody where they may have seen you on television shows that are probably well known, more so than my show, but we hope for the future that the TJ 3D Triangle with Brett Luter, which you're helping get started on ET Talk TV as a channel show on there, and you know Jeff Rennell, but help us out here. How can you help us? Go ahead.
Oh, well, I've been on Ancient Aliens, a couple episodes. If you want to talk TV shows, The Truth Is Out There. Mysteries of the Outdoors was a series a few years ago. Beyond Belief with George Noory, and so many interviews. I really should put them on my website, but the list is so long. I'll just talk about in the future. I'm on with Michael Sala, Exopolitics Today on Tuesday. I'm doing Mufon Sedona interview also on Tuesday. And then I'll be on Redacted with Clayton Morris and Higher Side Chats with Greg, his last name. Anyways, that's just what I got coming up. And people request my interviews all the time, and I'm happy to do it. Big or small, I just feel like we're at a very crucial junction in humanity on this planet, and it really is the Great Awakening. And if I can be of service to be articulate and talk about some things like in Future Esoteric, I'm happy to do it. And
well, we appreciate you being in that category.
Oh, happy to be of service. So, I mean, if you want to jump into Future Esoteric, and we'll talk about the unseen realms, be happy to pick a chapter and we can go into it.
Yes, folks, because I love books, and I spent a lot of my time in libraries growing up. My mother always seemed to be close to the library, actually in Houston, lived at 1313 Heights Boulevard, Houston, right across from the library on Heights Boulevard. Now, one thing that our librarian friends need to know is this book is in spirituality guidebooks, and number 1, and 2, metaphysics, esoteric, the title Library of Congress, catalog card numbers 201-291-4383, those of you listening. And I surely hope that Brad will be known in the library that he's sitting in right now for all time and eternity, not just for genealogy. And I'm back 15 generations in this country, back to the 1500s, and before that, coming over, and generations in my families, doing what you call FamilySearch.org. It's free in libraries, and you can go on FamilySearch.org, just put your name in and check who your parents are and keep going. Now, Brad is going to be in spirituality, and you tell us, and we'll go over any book you want to, that you're willing to. We've got 20 minutes left, roughly. So Modern Esoteric, 2nd edition, and Beyond Esoteric. So you can see the different colors. But folks, you need these in your libraries. and they're very important for history and all the topics that we have seen all the way up to 2025 and the new future in the Trump era with the Gen Zs and the Baron Trump name and where we're going in the future, because the young people are not buying the script being written on teleprompters by the Rupert Murdochs anymore. So I may get in trouble for saying that on YouTube, but Elon Musk now owns Google and YouTube. Is that proper, Brad Olsen? Is that legacy talk, or do you really know? Do you know anything? Did he buy Google from what you've seen on YouTube?
I just heard that today, that he may be in talks to buy YouTube, which is owned by Google, but that he also bought Fox News. I mean, this is incredible. We need to do away with the Smith-Mundt Act in future esoteric. You have a chapter called Media Manipulation. And, well, actually, the Smith-Mundt Act was in the 1950s, which was truth in advertising, truth in media. It was the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act, which made it legal for the media companies to propagandize the people and to also basically lie to us. And that would be incredible if Elon Musk picked up Fox News to make it the real first truth in media outlet that would talk about everything from UFOs to how technology is changing our lives, and also the danger of AI if it gets away from us. You know, we were on. I moderated the AI and transhumanist panel at the Alien event, and that's usually one of the most revealing panels because there's so much information that's coming out at breakneck speed, even about robotry. Are we going into a Terminator future, or are we going to be able to keep this in check and hopefully not go down that path? Because we're at a very dangerous point in human history as well. Not only are we on the brink of having this great awakening and opening ourselves to a future, a Star Trek future where all these great technologies are going to be released, but also we're at a period where this could get really dangerous if we do not allow this technology to get away from us. It could be the enslavement of the human race, and that's what I think I mean by prison planet and beyond esoteric, is that, look, the planet is beautiful. This is a garden. This is a gem of a planet. The prison is of our own making, of our own enslavement. Because if it gets away from us, Theresa, then we will be living in the worst form of fascism that anybody could imagine. And this would make George Orwell roll over in his grave. And we're already seeing the beginning of it. So I think it's very important, that we just alert people, that we let them know that this danger exists, and it is a growing danger that needs to be kept in check. So if we could get good programming and allow people to understand how this world around us might be changing for the worst, that maybe we can avert it, is my hope.
Well, what would you like to discuss? You probably know this book better than I do since you wrote it, but you took notes on a lot of topics for a long time. In this book, now you've got a future, but folks, he's already set the groundwork for us in our metaphysical world, ACE Metaphysical Institute. And I know he works with a lot of famous people. And he knows a lot of people. He's very busy with his life dream and his ranch. But we really want him to stay in touch with us through events. And right now, Brett Luter is at the Star Knowledge. Brett, we need to know that you're going to help us coordinate. So us old people are starting, it's too much. It's very hard to keep up with all the AI links and where we go. So we need you and Brett Luter to step up to the plate and help us get organized. And maybe with you and your ranch, sometimes when you get tired and dirty, come in and think about envisioning and manifesting the future esoteric ranch, or at least watering holes, so we can come and have retreats with you. I don't mind if you want to put an old-fashioned bucket. I've actually pulled water up in my grandparents' land in Louisiana over there, you know. So if you want to put one of those and have us come over there and learn how to be rugged and sleep, I love being there. But are you down the mountain or up the mountain from Reno?
I'm actually in a valley. I'm in a valley, very verdant valley. The Walker River flows through. Yeah, it's a green valley in a desert, which is really cool. But there's so much life here. A lot of wildlife too. I've seen coyote and wild antelope run through the fields, and all kind of birds, including migrating birds, because there's a lot of lakes here. So it's just I find it a magical place. And it was also where the Native American prophet named Wovoka, he lived his life here. So it's a sacred native place too. He was the Native American Paiute Indian who developed the ghost dance, which became wildly popular at the end of the Indian era. So in the late 19th century, Native Americans were coming here to the Mason Valley, where I'm at, to learn the ghost dance. And a sad little side note of history, it was the ghost dance that precipitated the massacre at Wounded Knee, which was the largest single-day genocide in American history. And I'm sure Wovoka would have been very upset and saddened when he found out that they were actually doing the ghost dance. But that just tripped out the cavalry, and they thought, anytime you hear ghost, that really means spirit. Anytime you hear devil, that means sacred. All those names were inverted when the Americans were coming across the continent in the stagecoaches, and they got these names, but they're really the beautiful places. And I write about them, and I've traveled to most of them in my book, Sacred Places in North America, because that's where the Native American people saw the spirit in the land, the Manitou. And to me, that's a really important aspect of where I want to spend my time and where I want to go travel and visit. So I feel like there's a lot of places here. It was also very big in mining, especially copper. And unfortunately, there are a lot of tailing mounds, and you see it all across the state of Nevada. A lot of mining took place here. It's very rich in minerals and metals that have been collected over the years. But there's still a lot of natural beauty as well.
Well, I'm going to wonder how we can best help you get us up retreat with a zip line. I haven't been down a zip line in a while, but you don't have anything we can zip line, or what about stacked tires?
Well, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, we could probably put a zip line in for you, Theresa. Why not? Yeah. But I do want to develop my property. I've got 10 acres, and I want to put in a tiny home village so people could be able to come out and do conferences or small festivals here, and even camping in their RV. So We'll have you come out when we get that also.
Can you set
up flyers?
Wow. I'd like to be around a campfire and tell stories.
Oh yeah, exactly. I got a big fire pit already.
You have to
do that. Yeah. So
all right, sounds good. Can we come up with some topics that we would discuss if you were our team leader in metaphysics or in our ACE metaphysical group or psychic university or consciousness? Now, tell us your conscious obviously has aspired to CCC publishing, and that's consciousness something. So we can get into your future esoterics. Folks, he's got pretty pictures, but look, secrets. Ooh, look, future. So he wants to talk and get into some of this alternative narrative. He has alternative narrative. So he's the guy. UFOs to free energy technology, ET contact to the secrets, and behind controlled information. So he knows something he's not telling us. Okay, and we can see it in his eyes. A lot of it's past lives. And I really think he's an interdimensional traveler because he knows all about energy and how to be here now. And he knows being in the future is being here now. And a lot of people don't get the past. But we learn from the past in order to be here now. But Brad, tell us what you put in here because you wanted to share a certain topic besides media. But I'm interested in how you know how to be here now and be in the future and know all this heavy quantum mechanics. How do you know that?
Well, I think it's just a curious mind, Theresa. It's why I've traveled around the world and going to all 7 continents. I like to learn. I think learning is a lifelong process. We're never going to be able to know it all, so there's still plenty of material. But in the case of quantum physics or UFO technology, it's just this is how we can advance as a human race. I mean, these are only subjects that we've known about for a few years, a few decades. And so what I do is, as a researcher, I collect data points. This is how I can explain it simply. And that is, you look at all the different points of view on a certain topic and you try to make sense of it or find where is that data point. So an example I often use, and I write about the Roswell crash in Future Esoteric. And so I wasn't alive. I wasn't there. So how can we make sense of what happened in Roswell in 1947? Well, there were eyewitnesses. There was also government reports. Even the very first day that the word leaked out to the media, it was on headline newspaper in Roswell that crashed out in the ranch out at Max Brazel's ranch near Roswell. So he witnessed it. His kids witnessed it. They even collected some of the material and would bring it around to bars once in a while. It's this very thin, kind of like aluminum foil that after you let it go, it returns to its state. So these are the data points. Some authors have proposed that Roswell was actually German craft from Antarctica. That's Joseph Farrell. Others say it was Japanese craft from Japan. Now, how do we know that? Well, they're the only ones that really say that. So they're kind of standalone data points. But it's really a bell curve. And the majority of those data points are the eyewitnesses, the people in the military who blew the whistle and who really talked about what the Roswell crash was all about. And then on the other end of the bell curve is the government saying, oh no, it was a weather balloon and the bodies were crash test dummies. But that doesn't, that's only them. That's only the one data point. So cumulatively, we could look at the top of the bell curve and deduce that there was a crash. It was otherworldly. There were bodies that were not human. And this is a big deal. The book called The Day After Roswell by Corso is an excellent example, because he was the one who was looking at all the artifacts that came out of it, and he was the one who really made this fantastic book and the case that it was an alien craft. So I think that's where how I do my work, how I do my research. And then it's just looking into all these very interesting subjects and putting them into a book form and let people read about them and also do their own research and make up their own minds.
You've got to do another one. Do you have time there for one show on the other channel? If it's okay with you, we can do some more visiting with you before you have to go back to your construction, or not?
Right, right. Well, I'm getting awfully hungry for lunch.
Another studio.
I mean, we can do a quick one, but I'm really hungry. I want to go to get lunch.
Do the 1 hour, and we can.
I don't think I can do another hour. Maybe we'll do it when Brett gets back. Why don't we do another show with him?
Okay. That'll be good. Okay, you can be thinking about all the talking points for 2025 with Brett.
There we go.
And what all maybe you can do with that ranch of yours to share that water you've got coming up. People are going to be wanting to come see all these survivalists maybe storming your area of the country, you know. But I think we're going to make it. I think, folks, I'm projecting that everybody's going to be positive and feel better, and groceries and gas is going to go down now. And we're going to have a good, healthy 4 years for everybody on the globe, because we're all cosmic beings. And Brad Olsen is one of our big popular leaders. And, you know, I'm going to prove right here that I don't know if anybody believes that I met him or not, but you know what? He was nice enough, and I had, it says right here, I'm going to show you. Can you see it? Let's see. Dear Theresa, nice to meet you and speaking on a panel with you in Las Vegas. There you go. You're a friend. Now, he signed your friend right there, Brad Olsen. Okay, so he's my friend, and he knows I love books, and he knows I love authors and consultants and orators, speakers. So if you know somebody like Brad that has some good weird stuff, or ET Talk, we're promoting ET Talk now, and it really comes from you being a cosmic being and channeling. And we'll get into that channeling in the future and what he's going to bring up, because he's going to give Skinwalker a run for the money over there, because he's found a beautiful green valley to own, or at least until he passes over, because we can't take anything with us, folks. But please follow Brad. Now, Brad, tell us again where we can follow you and have Brad Olsen at cccpublishing.com. But go ahead for this, you know, to be played over and over again for people in our authors, consultants, Artistis Club, and UFO Association and our Psychic University. Give us your websites and how people can ask you to be on their podcast, please.
Sure, yeah. Go to bradolsen.com, and that's where all my upcoming conferences and speaking schedule is. You can also go to cccpublishing.com, and that's where all my books are, as well as other authors who I publish. So, yeah, I just invite people to check out my work, and if they like what I've had to say here, you can find me on Facebook as well, Brad OLSEN, and then shoot me a message on Messenger, or you can use the contact us form on one of those websites I mentioned, bradolsen.com or CCC Publishing, and you can have me book me on a podcast. Yeah, sure. Love to do it.
Okay. Now you're going to be working on your ranch, but what's the name of your next book? Do you even know it yet, or have the graphic design for the front of your 2025 book?
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm going to load it up on the distributor's website by Friday next week. We have a cover going. It's called Secrets of Antarctica, The Untold History in the Ice Continent. That's a scoop. You're the first person, first public mention I've made of the new book, but I'm working on it every day. It's going great. I'm super excited about a lot of new research I found, and I might be going back to Antarctica with a film crew in a year. Right now is the season to go, but it's too late to book a trip now with a production company. So very optimistic about the future and looking forward to new kind of research and findings I can get on Antarctica.
Well, what's the name of your book again? Because mine is skipping. I hope it didn't skip in the recording with StreamYard. I've just found StreamYard to be easy, but some people like Zoom too. Do you get any better reception with Zoom in California as StreamYard where you are, Northern Hills? Or
It works fine. As long as you got a good connection, usually works just fine, I find. StreamYard's good service. I like it better than Zoom even.
Well, I hope we're not disappointed.
No, I think it'll be fine. Well, hey, Theresa, that's been great. Thanks for having me on, and we'll do it again when we get Brett back. And let's
Thank you.
Look forward to the next one.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I thought it would turn off on the automatic, but apparently it didn't. So I guess we'll end the stream, folks. And it has an end outro, and normally it starts by itself. But I'll try to see if I can't find it. And we really appreciate you, Brad, because you're one of a kind. I did find it. So I guess, folks, we hope you got this. Brad's going to come back when Brett Luter, his tall buddy, although Brad Olsen's about 6'7", you said? And,
yeah.
6'6". And Brett Luter's what, 6'5", 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5", yep. Something like that.
He's with his
We're all big fellas out west here.
And the Star Knowledge.
Yep. That's right.
But thank you, Brad, for sharing with all our great open source intelligence, your information about you and what you're doing and your ranch, and hopefully a retreat for all us old people that need to show up, and all you Gen Z too. Follow Brad Olsen as one of the tall mentors like Barron Trump, who knows, that might be our future leader, future president of the United States. All right. Yep. Well, love and light, everybody. Have a great time. We'll see you in a week. And hopefully, Brett Luter said he'll be back on November 14th. So we'll book him after that. And then Brad, hopefully. But now, Brad, I'm going on 3 cruises. So I'm going to be doing some fun training on the Carnival cruises. So I'll be gone traveling during the holidays. So we'll catch you, Brad, in sometime in the next 3 months, okay?
All right. That sounds good, Theresa. Well, thanks for having me on. It was nice talking to you.
For your time.
Okay. All right. We'll talk again soon.
Nice seeing you again. I look forward to our future and what we can create together, okay?
All right.
Invite me to your events, Brad, and I'll make sure I plug you on all my events. Bye.
Thank you. Okay. Bye now.